Hello, my name's Tom Horn. I built a new firefighter's tool. It's called a Jake knife. Essentially, it's the biggest pocket knife you can fit in your turnout trousers. When they're talking about size doesn't matter, they're not talking about pocket knives for firefighters. If you want to see more about this, it's on my website at www.jakeknife.us. That's JAKEKNIFE.us. This is the Jake knife closed. It's held closed by a spring detent pin. To open it, you just pull on it, and then to get it the final 10 degrees of motion, you push the liner lock. It's now locked open. Okay, to close it, you push the liner lock, closes 90 degrees, you get a chance to not cut your fingers off, so you push the liner lock again, closes the rest of the way. It's operable by a heavily gloved hand. Now, what can you do with the Jake knife, you may ask? Well, you can cut stuff with it. It's as delivered, it's very sharp. This is just a standard envelope, a standard manila envelope. So anyhow, you can make confetti out of envelopes. Also, you can hack with it. It's heavy enough and the blade is long enough to where it makes a pretty good hatchet. So here we go. Well, that worked a little better than I intended. I'll get another piece of wood and try it again. So anyhow, try that with your throwaway pocket knife. This thing is meant to bridge the gap between your throwaway pocket knife and your axe, which you may or may not have with you. But if you keep this in your pocket, you'll always have a pretty effective hatchet. What can you do with the Jake knife? Well, you can chop with it. It's heavy enough and big enough to make a pretty good hatchet. So here we go with a 2x4. Okay, here we have some house wire. It's 6/3 stranded with ground. It's good for 50 or 60 amps. It's probably what's going to be supplying a range or a dryer. If you have to cut this stuff, cut it close to a support. It ought to go pretty well. Make sure it's de-energized. Okay, so anyhow, try that with your throwaway pocket knife. It ain't gonna work so good. Okay, what else can you do with your Jake knife? You can use your Jake knife as a pry bar. Right? Pulling my Jake knife out of the pocket in the scabbard without yanking out everything else with my gloved hand. Opening it. Using it as a pry bar. Okay. Need to get it persuaded somehow to get in there. So I'll use my handy dandy pocket hammer. All right, pry bar. Try that with your pocket knife. Closed. Oop. Back in the scabbard. Hammer back in the scabbard. You can also use the hook on the striking butt of your jake knife to, you can turn a gas valve with it, or you can turn handline hose couplings with it. Works pretty good.